to do is have the width be 1920 and the height be 1080, if it doesn't automatically say that. There's a custom preset for that, which is HD TV. 1920 by 1080 is HD TV 29.97, let's see. 1920 by 1080. My eyes are so bad now. Let's see. Boom. There we go. 1920 by 1080, 29.97 frames per second. That means 30 frames per second. It drops a couple for some mathematical reasons, but that's basically a 30 frame per second comp. So there is the preset for that, but yours might already be there. 1920 by 1080. Now you can decide on your frame rate. You can, in fact, let me go ahead and make sure I'm in 30. Your duration and your background color. So I'm going to leave my background color black, but you can click there and change it to your favorite color, whatever you want yours to be. For duration, this is hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. So let's make a 10-second or 15-second comp. Let's go ahead and make a 10-second comp there. So that would be 0, 0, 0, 10, and then 0, 0 for frames. So that's what a 10-second composition looks like. So we'll just be working in these short little time frames for now. So basically, this is your aspect ratio of your video. And HDTV 1920 by 1080 is very common. You can present it on a screen and it looks good. You can present it on somebody's phone if you want to on YouTube. You know, it's a good aspect ratio. 30 frames per second is good. A lot of animators, when they're doing animation stuff, will be working at 24 frames per second, but we'll talk about frame rate and how that changes along the way. Duration, obviously, we're working at 10 seconds altogether, and you can change your background color to whatever color you prefer right now. You can always change it later, but if I go OK, now I can see this is what my audience is going to see, right? There's my stage. So now I have the stage. I have the project panel over here on the left where I keep my assets. If I'm using video, I would store my video here. If I'm using Illustrator or Photoshop or sound files, they all pile up in the project folder, and then I can drag them over onto the stage or in the timeline. This is the timeline. This is how we make things go with keyframes. And then up top you've got tools, and then you have your kind of command line, which we'll talk about, where there's a lot of things like all your effects, right? It's called After Effects for a reason. There's hundreds of different things you can do to things once you bring them in to your stage. So, makes sense so far, right? Super easy. I'm not trying to put you to sleep, I swear to God. Okay, let's go. So if everybody's got a comp made, let's go layer new solid. Let's make a solid. And make the solid whatever color you want. I'm just going to make a little purple, a little pink solid. Now a solid is just a graphic element that fills up your whole stage. But what we can do, we're going to do it so we can learn how to make things move. So what you can do is you can grab it and just make it into a square, and then drag it over with your mouse. So what we're going to do, we're going to start moving these little solids around as just little graphics that we can play with. So here's my little pink square. As you see, if I grab the corner, I can just do whatever I want to with it. If I grab the center of it, I can just move it around. So everything in After Effects is controlled by keyframes. All your effects, all your motion, all your rotations, your scale. And you can do, for anything that you put in here, you can do 5 major things to. And if I open up, see this little triangle in the timeline? Well, for one thing, notice how this thing has an identity now, right? It lives in my timeline now, and it lives here on the stage. So I can control it both here by grabbing it and moving it and rotating it, or I can control it through here, or I can record what I do with it. So just for a second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this little triangle in the timeline right here and open the transform controls. Those are the 5 things I can do to anything that I put in there. I can affect their anchor point, or the point around which they rotate. I can affect their position on the stage. I can affect their scale, or how big or small they are, their rotation, or how they rotate, and their opacity. Do they disappear or reappear? I can make them invisible or reappear. So just for a second, watch this. Let me do something, show you how to do it, and then we'll all do it together, okay? So just watch for a second. So I open up the transform controls. Whoops. I want this to move from here to here in 2 seconds. And I also want it to get big and small, and I also want it to rotate and disappear. So watch this. And then we'll all do it together. So here's how I got to the transform controls, this little triangle. Open up transform. So here's my timeline, and here's my time indicator. So to get it to go from here to here, just watch. You don't have to take notes of it. You'll figure it right out. I want to change its position. So I lay a keyframe by hitting the stopwatch, and there's the first keyframe. That keyframe says at 0 time to leave it right there. And then at 2 seconds, I'm going to move this thing. Don't do anything, just watch me do it for a second. I'm going to go 2 seconds ahead, and then all I have to do is make any other change, and the second keyframe happens automatically. So now that little motion has been recorded, right, through time. So now there's what I want to do, but I also want it to rotate. So I'm going to go back and click rotation. I'm going to go halfway through and hit W for rotate. We'll talk about the hotkeys in a minute. So that's been recorded. And then I'm going to go to my 2 seconds and I'll rotate it the other way. So now when I press the space bar, it moves. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me take my workspace and put it down here. So that's my workspace, is where you can just, it'll loop over and over there. So now I've told it through position to go from there to there in 2 seconds. And I've got keyframes for that. I've told it through rotation to rotate one way and then halfway through rotate the other, right? Now I'm going to go back and tell it to get big and small. So I'm going to go to 0 time, scale, lay my first keyframe. Halfway through, I'm going to make sure it gets big. And then as it goes down to 2 seconds, I'm going to make it get small again. So now I've told it to get big and small. So now it's moving from one place to another. It's getting big and small. It's doing the rotation I told it to. And the last thing is opacity. So I'm going to go back and do opacity. Halfway through, it's going to get invisible. So I'll knock my opacity down. Anytime you see blue numbers, that means those are dynamic. Meaning if I want to turn this 100% opacity to 0, all I have to do is hover over it and move to the left for 0, or to the right. So left means small, right means big. So I'll say I want it to disappear here. It leaves a keyframe for that. As I go to the end of my 2 seconds, I want it to get 100% opaque again. So now it's doing all the things I told it to do: disappearing, reappearing, getting big, getting small, rotating, and it's all through keyframes. It's all through telling it to do one of these things. These are actually very powerful. Now the last thing I didn't do was anchor point. We'll talk about that one in a few minutes. But the anchor point is the point around which this thing rotates. So I could change that point to be outside of the object, or the default is to be in the center of the object. But I could make it rotate around a different point if I wanted to. That's what that one's for, is to move the anchor point. Now, if I want to delete these keyframes and go back to 0 so you guys can do it with me, all I have to do is click this stopwatches again, and it'll delete all those keyframes so I can relay new ones if I wanted to. So now let's do that together. Let's put this over here. Now, let me talk about a few hotkeys. You'll notice before we start. So move tool is that one. That's where you can grab things, move them around, grab the corner and rescale it. That's V on the keyboard. So V is move. Rotate, which is that tool right there, is W. Another important hotkey is the space bar. That's how you play your animation when you've done it. So space bar equals play or preview, if you want to call it preview. And that's probably enough for now. Let's see, move, rotate, and play. Yeah. So you could either click, if I wanted to rotate this, I could either grab my rotation tool and rotate it, but why go all the way up there when all I have to do is hit W on the keyboard to do the same thing? All I have to remember is when I want to grab it and move it again, I have to hit V again for the move tool. Okay, so let's position it on the left side up here. Eventually we're going to have a few of these guys, we'll be doing a race with them or something. But let's say in 2 seconds we want it to go from there to there. How do we do that? Make sure you're at 0 time on the time indicator. Hit the position keyframe. And then all you have to do is move the time indicator 2 seconds ahead. And then just put that where you want it to be in 2 seconds. Tell it where you want. Every other keyframe after the first one is automatic. And then you can hit your space bar. And you'll notice that in 2 seconds it goes from here to here. Let's make sure we can do that first. Understanding keyframes. Now, if you wanted to completely, so motion graphics people often look at time in very small little chunks, a couple seconds at a time maybe, because it's a very fast art form. So what you want to do is take this workspace indicator, this thing right here, the gray bar with the 2 blue ends, where you put the tail end of that is where it's going to stop and review. So if we're only playing with 2 seconds of time right now, when you press play, there's no reason to watch a bunch of nothing happening, right? So just pull that time indicator back to about 2.5 seconds, and then it'll do what mine's doing, which you'll keep seeing it loop just your action. Everything makes sense so far? Anybody have any issues with keyframes? Yes?
I tried it, but
oftentimes what I find is people are forgetting to move the time indicator ahead. So you have to do 2 things. You have to lay the first keyframe, then move your time indicator ahead because you're telling the program how long you want an action to take place. And then you grab it and move it, and the next keyframe will be automatic. Did you remember to move your time indicator? That's it, yep. And now that's automatic. See, you laid another keyframe? Which I just keep throwing it over. So take your workspace, grab that blue, whoops. You can go down and grab it. Over here.
Oh.
That gray bar. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So grab that blue thing. Yep, and just stretch it all the way back to about there. There you go. Now when you press the space bar, it'll just play that little section over and over.
Thank you.
Are we okay with keyframes? Yep. Yeah. Cool. So move to 0 time. Move your time indicator to 0. There you go. Lay your first keyframe for position by clicking the stopwatch. See you have a keyframe. Move the time indicator to 2 seconds. Now all you have to do is say where you want that to be in 2 seconds. See how the other one's automatic? Now press your space bar. Voila. So now we've got it moving from one place to another. Everybody cool with that? Got it moving? Did you get it moving? Okay, good. Sorry, I know I'm going a little slow, but we got to make sure people aren't confused at the beginning. Yep. So that's your workspace. Oh, you probably want this to be much brighter because you can't see it. Very good. So that's your workspace. So instead of having it watch a bunch of nothing happening, we want to just loop our 2 seconds. So we grab our workspace, pull it back to where we want, and now when we press the space bar, it'll just loop that 2 seconds over and over. Thank you. Of course. Good. Everybody's figuring it out. You got it? Okay. Don't forget about the workspace. It's really important. That's this bit right here. That's your preview space. You don't want to watch a bunch of nothing going on because we haven't dealt with all this other 8 seconds. You don't want it to just sit there and watch 8 seconds of nothing happening. So oftentimes when you're doing motion graphics, your workspace is just where it needs to be so you can watch what you've done over and over. And you can always change that. Are we making sense so far? We're cool, right? Any question back there? Is that a question? Or a... That's a thumbs up. Good. Okay, now let's make it do the other stuff. Back to 0 time. Let's make it rotate. You can hit them all at the same time if you want. Rotate, scale, opacity. Or you can do them one at a time, whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and do them all. Rotate, scale, opacity. I lay a keyframe for each of those. Then I'm going to move forwards.
When I click my little clock, it's not doing anything.
What do you mean doing anything?
It's not turning blue.
Let's see. So we're okay, right? Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
You were in the hand tool.
Oh God. Okay, thank you.
It's okay. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Okay, so I want to rotate. W on the keyboard is rotation, so you can hit W, rotate that guy around. You can hit V to grab the corner and make it get big or small. But what I find that people, when they first start, what they forget to do is move the time indicator ahead. Remember, this is an art form that happens over time. So you have to make a change and then move forward in time and make another change and move forward in time. You can lay as many keyframes as you want over the course of that time.
Are we starting off with the rotation or rotation at 1 second?
Oh, you can do whatever you want. Have
Okay.
it rotate all along the way. Have it rotate later when you tell it to. I'm just trying to get you comfortable with the idea of keyframes. If you do them all at the same time, it makes you realize, oh, I can just grab this and move it around anywhere I want, you know? If you go in between your 2 seconds, you can move this somewhere and notice how it lays a new keyframe for position. So now I'm not even going in a straight line anymore, right? I'm going, so now I'm getting bigger and smaller, I'm rotating, I'm moving it around.
My rotation didn't work. Well, I did something.
W for rotate.
Yeah, so, okay, so I started at over here.
Okay,
And
so
then
you
I
laid a
moved-
keyframe for rotation.
and then I moved it forward, and then I
now
hit
if you W
I
and then
hit
grab
W.
and then grab that and rotate it now.
Oh, and
Rotate.
then I have to do that. Okay.
Yeah, you have to
Gotcha.
grab the object
You have
and
to actually
rotate.
grab.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Just grab the object. You don't have to get the corner. Just grab it. There you go. Rotate.
Cool.
V
Thank
for
you.
move. W for rotate. Now you can physically rotate it, but remember what I said about these blue numbers? If you need to do things really exacting, I can rotate it or scale it from these numbers too, right? I can hover over a number, click with the mouse and move it to the right or left. And that'll control my rotation or scale as well. Is it making sense so far? How are we doing with this? Any confusion about keyframes?
I still don't understand how to make it rotate.
W for rotate, and then you can either grab the object itself with the rotate tool and just physically rotate it, or you can use those dynamic blue numbers that I said next to rotation down there. So these are called your transform controls. Any object or video or graphic that you put into After Effects is going to have those same 5 transform controls. Okay. Does it make sense, guys? Keyframing? So let's do this. Now we're going to get kind of exacting, okay? And don't worry, today is just about just making a mess, exploring the program, getting it in our head, what it does, and we'll develop it as we go along. So let's do this. Can you click that thing in your timeline and press delete on your keyboard? Let's delete that guy. Now we're going to make 2, and we're going to be more motion graphicsy about this. We're going to go layer new solid. make a solid, whatever color you want, make it kind of small and square, and we'll place it right there. Now, what I want you to do is select it in the timeline and then press Command D. And what that does is give you 2 of those, and drag the other one to the other side. So Command D is duplicate, but you have to select it in the timeline to duplicate it. So anytime you want to duplicate a layer, you select the object and go Command D, you'll get a whole other version of it. And it appears right on top of itself, so you'll have to grab it and move it. So let's make 2.
When you copy it, would it also copy the
If I had the action on it, it would copy every action that was on it. Yeah. You can absolutely duplicate. Like if you had a bird and it was flapping its wings, you could have a flock of birds in like 10 seconds, right? Because they would all be flapping their wings. We're okay so far? Yes.
I think I've done something wrong. My whole thing at the bottom.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, what'd you do? Okay. Looks to me like you got rid of your timeline. There you go. So that's really good. So before we start, this is an Adobe product, meaning it works in a floating tab structure, just like all other Adobe products, Photoshop, Illustrator, everything, right? Meaning all of these things are tabs: the project panel, the stage, the tools, the timeline. If one of these gets deleted by accident or disappears, just like every other Adobe product, you can always find them under the word window. So if I lost him, like he just lost his timeline for some reason because he pressed a weird hotkey and made his timeline disappear, right? If that happens to you, don't worry about it. Just go up to Window, find Timeline in here. See how it has the ones check marked that I have open? It's got my tools, my properties, my composition panel, or otherwise called the stage, my timeline. All of those are open. If I were to close one, it's not lost forever. I just go to Window and I can open it up. Okay, everybody's ready for this? We're going to do these 2. The goal is to keyframe these 2 things so they meet in the middle, and then when they meet, one of them's going to go up and the other one's going to go down. Okay?
I did something, Thomas. I Control Z and I got rid of my screen.
Don't press too many weird buttons because it'll confuse me. Oh, you just blew up your. Let's see. What did you do? Oh, there's a comma. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
So put one on each side, like this, because our goal is to meet in the middle. Just for a second, now we're being real patient today, okay? But notice how I have 2 in the timeline. If I had 20 things in the timeline, which, motion graphics is crazy. There's often all kinds of stuff moving around. One good way to tell things apart, even when they're the same color, is by color keying them in the timeline. So one thing I can do is take one of these and make it aqua, I guess, and the other one I'll make it cyan. So if you click those little boxes, and notice now when I select one or another one, that one has the cyan little color, and this one will have the little aqua color, right? So you can actually color code, and it gives your entire timeline for that the color you chose too. So that's these boxes right here. So if I wanted that one to be green and the bottom one to be pink, see how I can color code my timeline so I can tell them apart. Now, just for a moment, watch this. Let me do it first, and then you guys do it, and I'll do it nice and patiently. So it's about things interacting. I'm going to say 4 seconds. I'm going to give myself 4 seconds to do this in. So I'm going to say in 1 second they're going to meet each other, and then after they meet in the middle they go up and down. So what I'd probably do is take this one, open its transform controls, keyframe position, move forward to 1 second of time or so, and then put it in the middle, If I hold shift, it'll make it a straight line. Otherwise, I can put it wherever. But if I hold shift, it forces it to a straight line. Now, after that, I want it to hold there for a second and then go down. But I'll do that in a minute. Let me open the other one's transform controls. We'll go back to 0 time for that guy. Position. Go there, move this guy here. All right, they're gonna meet right there. Right, so here's what I have so far. Right, I've told them both just to go and meet each other. Boop, boop. Now I want one of them to go up after that and the other one to go down. So I'll say the green guy goes up. Notice how I color coordinated my guys, and even their motion path is the same color as their timeline. So I can, if I've got 20 or 30 things floating around, that might be a good way for me to tell what's going on with multiple things by looking at their colors that I've colored them. Okay, so now I want this guy to go up. So I'm going to go up in time. I'm going to go up, let's say 1 second, and I'll just take this guy straight up. Cool. And then the other one, I want the other one to go down. So I'll grab him, hold shift, down. Cool. So now when I look at this, what I've got, whoops, got to get your workspace right. There we go. So see if you can do that. See if you can get these things to go for about a second, meet each other, and then go up and down. Even if it's sloppy, it's okay. Just so you're getting comfortable with keyframing multiple objects. Did you have a question? Did you say something?
Yeah, I just how to do cake.
Command D. Select it in the timeline and then go Command D.
So did we undo what we first did?
Here
when we
is
had
how
them
to
rotate?
convert the
What's that?
Are we turning off what we first did when we had them rotate?
Oh yeah, we deleted that
Okay.
one. We created brand new. Just delete the one that you had before and create
Okay.
two new ones.
Cool, thank you. Okay.
What button did you hold to go straight down?
I just hold it shift.
Shift and right.
Are yours going in a curve?
Yeah, I did it without shift.
It also might be your.
Okay. So we go.
Now that's something I want to talk to you about. Some of you guys might have this on automatically, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I wanted to see. How's it working? Everybody can make a meet in the middle. You can do two things at once. Oh, we were supposed to delete the ones that rotate and create brand new ones. That's right. So don't be afraid to just delete them and make new ones. The way you make new ones is layer new solid. So hit these and just press delete. In the timeline. Click it and press delete on your keyboard. Boom, and then delete again, delete again. Right? Just just create new ones. Layer new solid. Yeah.
But I hold shift. Something I can't like good.
Grab it first and then hold shift. Grab it and move it and then hold shift. Yeah, see, you've got something that I'm going to talk about in a
Okay.
second, which is, that's okay, bring it down for a second. Let me show you something. You click this, and you right click and say keyframe interpolation. That's what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
You can make that linear if you want to go in a straight line. Here you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to talk about now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted people to discover it first. You guys okay? Easy as pie, right? Easy as pie. Just wanted to make sure we can do it. Anybody having issues with the up and down? With the meeting in the middle? Boink. Excellent. Boink. Good. Cool, so we don't understand that keyframe. What the heck?
Did you make them, did you have yellow object?
Oh, now you press, let's see, hold on. You gotta have a comp, that's why. That happens to everyone. If you double click, you leave the composition and it takes you inside the layer. We'll talk about that, don't worry. We're okay so far? Cool, everybody cool? Now, keyframe interpolation. Just for a second, notice how I have Bezier handles on this one? This one goes straight up, bonk, and straight up. Did anyone have trouble getting it to go straight? Probably a lot of you guys are set to linear anyway, but this one, I can't get it to go straight because I have Bezier handles. Those are curve creators, right? So the way that you deal with that, if I wanted this one to be curved, I would select that keyframe. So each time you have a keyframe, what this is 3 keyframes on my timeline. The starting point, the point where I stopped and turned, and then the point where I ended. Each of those is indicated. This is called a motion path. And each of those little dots is the frames it took to get there. So if that was 1 second, that's probably 30 frames it took to get there, right? So if I wanted this to be curved instead of straight, I would have to click that, right click it and say keyframe interpolation, and then decide that its spatial interpolation was Bezier. And now I can make that curved instead of straight with Bezier handles. So now I've got 2 of them and meet in the middle, but now they curve off a little bit. Boring. So not quite as clean, but curvy. So you can decide, do I want it to be curvy, the motion path, or do I want it to be straight? Now, it's okay if you don't remember that, but
How do you do the angle again with the lines like that?
I right click and say, right click that keyframe where it turns,
Yeah.
and change it from linear to Bezier. When I change them back, see this? Click this, right click, keyframe interpolation, linear. See, now I've got straight lines again. Bonk. Okay? Now, it's okay if you don't remember that, but that's just a little detail. Cool, so we understand keyframes to a certain degree. Now, this is all in 2D space. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's delete these guys by drawing a bounding box around them in the timeline and press delete. Let us make, we're going to have a little race and we're going to talk about easing for a second. So layer new solid. Let's make a solid, whatever color you want. Make it small square again. Command D to duplicate it and drag it down. I'm going to Command D again. I'm going to have 3 of them in a line. And I'm going to have a little race and I want to show you something. So what I'm trying to do is get you real comfortable with just making new stuff and throwing it away and making new stuff without, don't treat it too preciously right now. Are we okay so far? All right. Now, if you don't mind 1 minute, just watch me do something for a second. What I want to talk about is easing. So easing is, and I can't recall whether I normally talk about it this early, but you guys got keyframes. So easing is about style. So there's different ways to get from one place to another. So watch this for just a second. I'm going to have all three of these guys get there in 2 seconds, right? And I'll do it, I'll open this guy, position, in 2 seconds. He's going to go here. I'll select those keyframes, Command C to copy. Oh no, I can't do that because it will put it, never mind. So there's that guy. I'm going to get this guy, position, 2 seconds. He's going to race over there too. I don't have to be too exact. And then the third one. Before 2 seconds. Great. So they all start in and stop in 2 seconds. They're all getting there. Now that is one way to get somewhere in 2 seconds. But this one at the top. So what that is doing is just ticking off time. With each of these little dots is keyframes, right? Boom, 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 boom. 60 dots to get there, right? But I can change how those things get there. So the top one, I'm going to ease it. I'll say I'm going to select the keyframes for the top one by drawing a bounding box. Right click and say keyframe assistance, ease in. And now let's see how that one. It still stops and starts in the same place. But notice how it starts real fast and then slows down at the end. So it's still doing what it's doing in 2 seconds, but it's doing it differently, right? Now the next one at the bottom, I'll have the middle one just ticking off time. The one at the bottom, I'll ease out. So I eased in. And notice how the ease in gave me a little different look on my keyframes. So now I'm going to find the guy on the bottom, find his keyframes, select them, right click, keyframe assistance, ease out. So now he is going to start slow and finish fast. So this guy, the middle guy just ticks off time. This guy starts fast and ends slow. He eases into the motion. This guy starts slow and takes him a second to get going, and then he ends fast, right? There's all of them take 2 seconds to get to where they're going, but there's different ways to do that, right? And that's called easing, and it'll make a lot more sense in a couple seconds, but that's one way that you can create style, is by easing. And notice you can even see it in the keyframes. See how this one's got more keyframes all smashed up at the beginning? So it changes the speed at the beginning, and then they spread way out at the end, right? The guy at the top, he's all spread out from the beginning, and he starts to smash in as he gets closer, right? So there's different ways. So let's do that. Let's get all three of these, and I'm just going to do the whole thing again. I'm going to delete those guys. Layer new solid. Make my first solid. Whoops. Pressing too many buttons. Don't worry, it gets way more exciting than just playing with squares, I swear. Command D. Command D. And now I just want them both to go, I want all three of them to go from one place to another. So each one at a time, I'm going to do the 2 seconds, the 2 second race. This is good practice for you guys, just keyframing stuff anyway. Are we okay so far? Position, Move forward 2 seconds. Great, so you understand transform controls, you understand keyframes. In a second, you're going to understand easing. All of this in 2D space. Now, we'll probably, for the first 2 days, go over all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't really matter if every single thing goes in your brain, right? Just take what you can from it. Because we're playing around in 2D space, but it won't be very long until we're cracking into 3D space. And we're working with cameras and lights and glows and effects and stuff like that. But this is just like the first 2 days is just a big overview of kind of things you can do with the program. Once you guys all get them racing, then we'll play around with easing. You guys okay so far? Now, everybody got them racing?
Not yet.
Not yet. So the way to do easing is you can select one so you can see its motion path. Draw a bounding box around its keyframes in the timeline. Meaning just click adjacent to them and just draw a little box so they both turn blue. That's basically selecting both of those keyframes in the timeline. Right click the keyframes. Say keyframe assistant, ease in. Ease in or ease out, whatever you like. And you'll see that changes their identity in the timeline. Yes? Don't hesitate to ask questions if you're having trouble.
Something we have to occur soon. We're trying to put in the third one because I messed up on this one.
Yeah.
It's just with magnifying glass instead of
Just go back. You probably hit a hotkey, just select, and you can press Command D. Select one and just go Command D. Oh, you're gonna end up duplicating its keyframes, so you have to delete them and stuff, but that's right. Makes sense so far, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I gotta start over. I just don't fucking.
No, you hit it looks like you
I
are
did it again?
in. Yeah, you hit something. Oh, go back in your comp. You're double clicking things and you're getting out of the comp. Here, hit
Okay.
that. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I get to the current assistant thing? Like how do I
Select the bounding box by clicking out here and just drawing a box around this here.
First.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that far away, just right here. Just click and draw a bounding box around the select. That's it. Just the two.
Oh.
Just the two keyframes.
That's odd.
Yeah, yeah, get them both. There you go. Now to select, now right click one of them and say keyframe assistant. You've got to right click the, select those and then click and right click one of them.
Oh.
No. So, to select things, you just click and select the box. And then you right click.
Oh, nah.
And then keyframe assistant, ease in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. We okay with easing? Cool. Now when we're doing things really fast, easing starts to make a lot of difference with style. It's not much when you're moving squares across the thing in 2 seconds, but
I have like a major brain fart right now.
you might be missing it. What else are you, you're not selecting your keyframes. Open it up and select the keyframes for it.
Huh?
Draw a bounding box around it. Now right click. No,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong.
Say, he's out, he's in. Yeah, that's it. Excellent, excellent, yes.
I keep having the solution that I can't get it to me at the same time, so just.
Oh, which one are you So
Okay,
you select that.
maybe you can help me for a second.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, so,
Looks like they're bunched right up
Okay,
against each
so
other.
I start
Why
here,
don't
I
you
start at
delete that and
0.
just read
I'm on this
position.
one, right?
So click
And then
that.
what do I do first?
Click to it,
Yeah.
stopwatch. Now they're deleted. Now make sure you're at 0 time, click it again.
But you just click on it.
Now move forward
And then
2
you just go
seconds.
down, left click, and then shift.
And now just put that one there too.
Huh?
Yeah. There you go. You can hold shift and it'll go in a perfect
Shift
straight line
all the way to
if you want.
perfect straight line.
You guys are doing great.
So you went to
You're doing
2
great.
seconds, right? You grab the little timer thing.
Let's just give 2 or 3 more people a chance to catch up, and then we'll rock and roll. So you can experiment with easing. Now,
How do I do the keyframe?
Uh,
I don't like having measure-
select the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant. Whoops, did I miss it? Ease out. Now easy ease. I'll put easy ease on the other one. Easy ease is a weird one. It just eases it both ways. It just gives a little bit of style to the motion. So I'll put easy ease on this one, keyframe assistant. Easy ease. That one starts slow and finish slow and it's fast in the middle. So that's what easy ease is. So now they all 3 kind of have a different way of getting from one place to another. And like I said, it looks pretty not overly exciting right now because it's just squares moving across the thing, but it actually is.
Thomas, can you help me for a second?
Sure.
I'm having a major brain fart, and I know this, but I can't think of it right now. I haven't even moved them forward yet.
All right.
Okay.
So to move them, so you've got one you want to talk to.
Okay,
So you're at 0 time.
yeah,
Lay your position keyframe.
right.
Move forward the time indicator for how long you want it to happen, 2 seconds, and then just put it there. And then the other one's automatic. So there's 2 seconds. Now the other one, I'll do the same thing. Here I am at 0 time. I want this one to go. Position keyframe at 0 time. Move forward 2 seconds, and then just put it there. Just tell it that's where I want it to be at 2 seconds.
Okay,
And then
thank
do
you.
the same thing with that one.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
That's actually.
So I go back? No, wait.
Now we're going to do something really funky in a second.
Position,
Um,
0.
Cool. Now, easing, just so you can catch up real fast so we can keep, because people are hanging
I
around.
still fucked up.
What?
I didn't do the last one. 'Cause
Look,
I
look.
started it over.
Here we are at 0 time, right? Position is what I want to change,
Position, okay, position.
and then that's the one I'm moving, I guess.
Mhm.
And so then I just move forward in time,
Move forward.
and then just put it there.
But how come those other ones moved at the same time?
They move because we keyframe those 2 already together.
Okay, that's confusing me. Thank you. Position.
Okay, let's
2
see.
seconds.
Easing makes a big difference, just so you guys know in the future. Eventually, we're going to start playing with more nuanced easing in what's called the graph editor, but we're not going to worry about that today. But you can do some wild games in the graph editor and really get the easing doing all kinds of stuff. And you'll notice with motion graphics, just before we move forward, let me let's take a look at a quick motion graphics reel. Just so we're let's look at something from a little while here. So you'll notice when a lot of this stuff moves, now watch it with easing in mind. Like a lot of this is happening very fast, but when you see some of these things move, they're not just moving linearly. They're moving and then they're slowing into their arc, or they're speeding into their arc. Everything, so advanced motion graphics practitioners put easing on everything. And just watch it with that in mind a little bit, all these words and letters, and see if you can pick up on where the easing is happening. See how things are slow and then fast, fast and then slow? Visually, it gives it a very impressive, what I call bump. It gives a little bump to it. And that's like visual excitement. And with motion graphics, that's where the whole art form is visual excitement. And no ball just bounces like this, right? Balls always go, shoot, shoot. You know, they do things more cooler, you know, and that's easing. See how all that camera work? It's slow and then it's fast and slow and fast. It gives it a sense of adventure. And so people like this are super good. Easing is just natural in their brains, right? And in a week or so, it will also be for yours. And you'll be able to do all this stuff quite easily. Now, aside from easing, part of the magic is things just appearing from nowhere. Words that write themselves. Arrows that point to something that just appears. That's about timing. And that's about masking. A lot of the graphics that you see that just appear, like the words that write themselves, the whole word is already there. It's just being unmasked. So let's talk about that for a second. That one's actually a cool example. I'm going to keep that one for a bit. For example, whoops. Hey, crazy back. Cool. Okay. So let me get rid of these guys. Probably we've gotten what we're going to get from those guys. I'm going to delete them. Let's talk for a second about masking, and then we'll get back into more advanced motion. So check this out. If I write a word, let's do this. Let's delete those 3 erasers. Grab the T up there, the type tool. Click it out here, and let's type a word. Now that word is just an object as well. Now, you can change the nature of that word. When you type something, you probably have a text box. Notice how I've got my, what color is it? How big is it? What color is it? Does it have a stroke or a fill? Or is it just a stroke or just a fill? What's its font? All that stuff's right there. All that stuff's also in the tab called character. So you've got a text tab and a character tab where you can change that real fast. If you don't like your font or your scale or your color, the character tab. Now, where do you find the character tab if you don't have it?
In the windows.
Under window, that's right. Under the word window, you can find your character tab. It should be there on the right-hand side of your interface. So type a word that looks good to you, and let's make this word write itself like magic. Yes?
How can I rasterize this so it's just easier to work with?
What do you mean? Which part?
Just like the text, you just rasterize it like a normal layer.
Well, you can right-click and rasterize it, but you don't want to do that yet.
Okay.
Let's just leave it. There's things we want to do with it.
Okay.
It's easier to work with if you just hit the move tool and then it just goes into the object.
Okay.
But V isn't good for the move tool when you're in the text tool because you're just type of V. Are we okay? We've got ourselves some text. So watch this for a second. I want this word to write itself, right? So, oh, by the way, this is just an object too, right? I can grab the corners, make it bigger, smaller. I can make it do this in time, right? I can make it do that easy, right? Just by changing its scale, because the type has all transform controls that everything else has, right? But, so, it's just an object. If I rotate it, you know, scale it, rotate it, make it disappear, whatever. Now, let us duplicate this text for a second. So Command D, and then drag the other one down. There's different ways of making things appear. So the top one, watch this. So the top one, I'm just going to have it appear with the transform controls. So let's say over the course of a couple seconds, no, over the course of 1 second, I want it just to appear. So what I'm going to do is make its opacity 0, move forward in time 1 second, and then just make its opacity 100. That's one way of making something appear, right? It's not the most exciting way, but it works. I think I'm going to make it take 2 seconds to do that. Okay. Now, another way is masking. So watch this. The bottom one, I'm going to, with it selected, and this is something you really want to watch. Masking is super important to this art form. Don't worry, we'll do it 10,000 more times.
How do you get it selected?
What's that?
How do you get it selected?
You can select it with the, so you want to be in the move tool, you just select it in the timeline.
Move
or
tool. Okay. Sorry.
That's your selection tool, right?
Yeah.
In fact, that's what it's called. I call it the move tool, but it's actually called the selection tool. If you hover over it, you'll see. You can, meaning you can grab it here, or you can always grab it in the timeline. It has two identities, right? It lives in the timeline, as you know, and it lives up here on the stage. Now, to draw a mask, any shape tool, when you have anything selected, and let me do it first to show you how it works, and then we'll do it together. I want this to look like it's writing itself. What I'm going to do is select it in the timeline, grab the rectangle tool, and look at this when I draw a rectangle. I'm not actually drawing a rectangle, I'm drawing a window that reveals this. This usually boggles people, so don't be afraid if you don't get it at first. But this is not a shape, this is a mask. So watch this now. If I go down here, now I've got a mask that lives underneath that. Let me just get rid of the other one so I'm not confusing you. So that mask is just a window. And if I wanted to, when I open the mask controls, I could say mask expansion. I could say over the course of 2 seconds, I want to expand the function of my mask. So I'll move forward 2 seconds. I'll hover over it and expand it. And it now when I let that go, that just looks like that's just writing itself, right? Now I can even soften the edge of that with a feather. So it's a softer edge reveal. Right? So that's different than just appearing. You can make it kind of write itself. And you can play with whatever time. If I wanted that to happen twice as fast, I would just take those keyframes and smash them a little closer together. 1 second instead of 2. Because that's just time, right? And now. Does this make sense so far? So, let me do this again. I'm going to delete this mask. So here's my object that I want to mask. It can be anything. As long as I have it selected, when I use any shape tool, like I drew a rectangle first, but what if I drew the ellipse tool, and instead of putting it over here, I put it right here in the center. I could draw a little circle. And then when I look at the mask down here in the timeline, that mask expansion, it's going to be in the shape of that circle.
Ooh, that's cool.
So there's different ways of revealing things, right? Now, let me get rid of that mask for a second. the pen tool is also a shape tool, so I could draw some weird closed shape. And now that's a mask, and then it says mask 1, and then I can do mask expansion there. So I can have it, right? So any shape tool I use on any object that's selected doesn't actually draw a shape, it draws a mask. And masking is arguably, like masking, time, and easing are 3 of the most important parts of this art form. So let me get rid of that mask. Now there's also, I'm doing mask expansion, so I don't have to move the mask path, but you could also do it like this. Watch this. If I draw that rectangle, I'll draw it at the leading edge of my, right there. See how that's what it would do. So I could change the mask path by keyframing mask path, then double clicking this mask. Oops, sorry, 0 time, make sure it's 0 time when you start. Lay a keyframe for mask path, move forward in time, click on the mask, make it bigger. There we go. So that's changing, that's shaping the mask window to reveal what I want it to reveal.
But when you do mask expansion, you draw the box over the whole thing?
Nope, you draw the box adjacent to the thing. And then, so
Oh.
mask expansion is just so you don't have to go through the extra effort of changing the shape of the mask. It actually just expands the function of the mask out from the mask. So, and mask feather softens the edge of the mask, so you get a little halo edge on it, so it's softer looking. So that's the feather, and obviously mask opacity would change how much you see through it or not. So try that. Try that on your word. Try with a rectangle first. Draw the rectangle adjacent to your word. Then look down in your timeline and see where it says mask 1. And then keyframe mask 1 to change somehow, either with mask path or mask expansion. And then if you keyframe that, you can time it. You can specify the timing it takes to reveal. Does that make sense? Make some sense? Give it a shot. If you have trouble, which I absolutely expect you to have trouble, and it's okay, no big deal. We'll make sure we understand it. You could put easing. You could put easing on your mask reveal if you select it, right click and say keyframe assistant ease in or ease out. And then it'll ease it with style too. So that's how you get things to appear by magic. So let's say you made like some real cool lines and vines in Illustrator, and you wanted it to look like those lines were growing magically, right? You would bring that graphic in from Illustrator as a vector graphic, and then you would mask it so it looked like it was growing. We'll do that next class, but. Are we okay so far? No. Yeah, masking is confusing as can be because the mask is attached to the object. So if the object is animated, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get rid of one so we're not confused. Let's just do what we want. So here's our thing. I'm gonna make sure it's selected, step 1. If it's not selected, what happens when I use this? I actually draw a rectangle. We haven't even talked about that yet. We don't want to do a shape, we want to do a mask. So if it's selected, instead of drawing a shape, it draws a mask. There's my window. Magic window. So now, when I look down here, now it has an identity in the timeline, meaning if I open it, I can do things to it. Like expansion will reveal that. So I can keyframe expansion if I want to. Or meaning change the shape of the mask. So maybe I would grab this tool. I would go mask path.
Yeah, I was trying to mask path on mask expansion, which is why it's.
Yeah. Mask path is where you actually double click it and change the nature of the mask itself. So the shape of the mask changes to reveal it, which is perfectly cool. So that's mask path. The other one, you don't have to screw with the mask at all. You just go expansion, move forward in time, change the number to be bigger, and it'll just reveal it. Cool. Try it. You got it all right? You got it all right? Oh yeah, you got it. You got it okay? All right. Cool. Good. We good? Yes. Groovy.
Groovy.
All right. Now, the cool thing about a mask being attached to an object is I can not only reveal that thing, but that object still has all its transform controls. So I can make it reveal and rotate, or reveal and move, right? So maybe I'll click rotation and position for the word. I'll move forward in time, and I'll just make it rotate. Whoops, I have to make sure it's selected. Oftentimes it's good to animate it before you mask it, but otherwise you can't grab it. Let's do it this way. There we go. So now it's both revealing and, right? Revealing and rotating. So wherever that thing goes, its mask goes with it, and it's going to be stuck to it. So you can change scale, you can change position, you can change let's change scale, position, and rotation. It starts to look like advertising. And then so you can kind of see now how some of this stuff can be made, right? You can move stuff around, you can make it appear whenever you want to, you can make it disappear whenever you want to. All of it with keyframes, masking, easing. Now in 2D space, which everything we're doing so far is in 2D space, whatever's on top in the timeline looks like it's on top on the stage. So just like Photoshop, if the layer's on top, then it looks like that's the object that's on top. In 3D space, that doesn't matter as much. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's make sure everybody understands masking. Did we all mask something and it's okay? Good. Okay. Let's do this. I think, how about we take a 10-minute break, we'll come back at 2:30 and we'll crack into 3D space,